Doma Sports Talk worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now it might be a little feisty, cause I didn't see not too long ago I seen the match with the Wizards, you know what I'm saying? I'm not really a fan, so I'm a Russell Westbrook fan. Man got his triple double, made a few stupid shots towards the end, and they lost at the end of the damn game. And my man pushed off. My man that was at Portland, I forget his name right now. He pushed off, pushed Neto off, and then made a three at the end of the game. Pissed me the hell off. So still got a little residue from that, right? That's probably why I might be a little irked. But listen, the GOAT, right? The greatest woman of all time in boxing, right? You can say that, and that would be Claressa Shields. We know that. Two separate divisions, undisputed, and she be letting you know it, right? And she's getting a little backlash for letting you know it. But why in the hell do you need to be humble, right? Why the hell do you need to be humble? I have two divisions, and I got separation in my matches, right? Not like Katie Taylor, I think, who's undisputed, but there's a whole bunch of, she can fight Pearson again, and we all know it, right? There's not a whole lot of separation in Katie Taylor. Katie Taylor get pieced up in her matches, but I think she's undisputed too. But Cecilia Brækhus was undisputed, if I'm not mistaken, bad girl. But I'll get to some of them in a minute. But the bottom line is, I see a few comments when it comes to Claressa Shields, when she talks, she shouldn't be this and she shouldn't do this and she's talking too much smack. All I'm going to say is this. If someone doesn't like that Claressa Shields is brash, right, then, right, anybody, if there's in your vicinity, then you ask them, do you like Tyson Fury? If they say no, then it's okay. Do you like Donald Trump? If they say no, then it's okay. Right? If you like Conor McGregor, if they say no, then it's okay. But the problem is, don't be brash and be a brother or sister in this case, right? And there ain't no reason to be humble. Why? Ain't nobody else humble. Damn right. Two division champion, I'm the GOAT, and there's a whole lot of other stuff I'm talking about. But anyway, she could possibly be in the biggest fight of the year, this year, if you ask me. Could be the biggest fight of the year if she were to meet who she's talking about, and that would be Savannah Marshall. Savannah Marshall, if you don't know her, just go do the eye test. Just go watch her, because I've explained every time I talk about it what happened to me when she was fighting Yankin, and I didn't know neither one of them at the time. So at the end of the day, I looked at the run up to it, and I seen both of them talk, and Savannah Marshall was humble, right, and the other girl was talking smack. So I went on the humble girl side. I was like, okay, Savannah Marshall. Then I'm like, when I seen her just walk out with all this swagger and the way she fights with total swagger and total skills, I was just blown away. Blown away. And so this Shields is saying, listen, I would like to fight Savannah Marshall on the Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury undercard as a co-main event or something like that. And it's worthy. Even though it's women, it's worthy. Savannah Marshall is Claressa Shields' Demetrius Andrade or Charlo, like for Canelo. That's how good she is. The difference is Claressa Shields is gravitating towards Savannah Marshall. Every time somebody mentions Savannah Marshall's name, she's like, listen, man, I'll be dominant against Savannah Marshall. Okay? I'll be dominant. I'm great and she's good. There's a difference, right? Now, Savannah Marshall gonna fight this weekend at Wembley Stadium. Right, and I don't even know who she gonna fight, which is upsetting me a little bit, because I was hoping Savannah Marshall would fight somebody that people in the know at least would know, that this fight with Savannah Marshall would be kind of big leading up into, the fight with Claressa Shields, because maybe a lot of people think, well, Claressa Shields gonna beat anybody. Savannah Marshall is a formidable opponent, and that's from the eye test, and I've done it. After that, she blew me away so bad, I checked her out in other fights. Savannah's good. Her and Claressa Shields is a huge fight in women's boxing. I think it's the best fight out there, and I don't even think it's close. It's a real good fight. Savannah Marshall is worthy of an opponent from Claressa Shields, no doubt about it. Claressa Shields is the A side versus anybody, right? But this girl here is all that, right? And let me tell you why I say it's the biggest fight of the year, right? Because with the men, we ain't getting nothing. Not nothing, right? We can't get Pacquiao versus Terrence Crawford. If that would happen, that would be the biggest fight of the year. But we're not going to get it. We can't get Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury, right? Fury just doesn't want to fight, honor his contract. And the fans are allowing him to get away with not honoring his contract. So, and the mainstream media. So, we're not going to get that, right? There's one to go down the drain. Hey, someone saying, hey, well, let's get Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. You know, all we get is announcements, but we ain't got it, right? Do we? Do you know where it's going to be? No. Do you know when it's going to be? No. You always know it could be this and it could be that. We still haven't got it. Do you know if Deontay Wilder's litigation is up? No. So that one we might not have. Another one that could be signed that we'd be saying, would that be the biggest one? Be Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence. We gonna get that this year? No. Are we? Right? You know what would have been good? An undisputed fight in the lightweight division. Devin Haney versus Teofimo Lopez. Did we get it? No. We're gonna get Devin Haney versus forget who we gonna fight. My man here, his name don't hit me. It'll hit me later, but we're gonna get your boy Kambosos versus Lopez. Right? And so we're not getting that. And when it comes to Canelo, who's the face of boxing for some, we're not getting him versus anybody hard, right? So that's it. So what the hell? We're just watching boxing to get fights that some people say, well, that's okay. And I know a lot of people are like, well, we got Josh Taylor versus Ramirez. That's for undisputed 140. That's a good fight. I just don't like how Ramirez got there. Because if they had a 140-pound WBSS tournament, where we would already knew who was the baddest one, which we think is Josh Taylor because he entered the tournament. Well, Ramirez didn't, right? Ramirez didn't, and neither did Maurice Hooker. They didn't, right? And so my point about the ones that didn't go to the tournament to prove it then, and we already had it, I'm looking at them funny, right? So I don't think taking shortcuts, right? Taking shortcuts, like mandatory challengers, Robert Garcia. Ryan Garcia won't fight Devin Haney. He's just mandatory. Like I keep saying, in every video I talk about, I'm gonna keep saying this. I'm glad one of the big heavyweights talked about it too. But Jaime Munguia, mandatory, the mandatory for Demetrius Andrade. He ain't gonna fight him. He gonna do something else, and that's not that bad. If the media would be like, well, you know something? Y'all two mandatories, Ryan Garcia and Jaime Munguia, y'all ain't mandatory no more, and we gonna dish y'all in the media. We ain't no. What they do is say we ain't gonna say nothing because it ain't nothing but some brothers over there that y'all ignoring, and we don't want you to fight them. But I keep talking about that in my last video when I was talking about go watch Guillermo Rigondeaux versus Nonito Donaire, and when you see that kind of separation, that's why they don't want these guys to get in fights, right? But anyway, back to Shields. Shields is brash. Shields should be. She's 2-division, undisputed. She's the baddest thing in women boxing. And this fight with Savannah Marshall would be a damn good fight. If we get closer, if it gets signed, and we can talk about who we think can win and all of that. But let me tell you, Savannah Marshall is worthy of fighting Claressa Shields. And in that fight, there's not a clear winner. That's how good I think Savannah Marshall is. So y'all check that out. Let's see if Claressa Shields can get her wish. She would like to fight. She likes some Anthony Joshua anyway. So she'd like to fight on Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury's undercard as a co-main event. It's not a bad idea, but maybe she should just go ahead and be her own main event because we don't know if that other fight gonna happen. Let's see what's up. That's pretty good news because Claressa Shields ain't running from what people say nowadays from the smoke, right? So she ain't running from it. She's trying. The most formidable opponent that she has around 160, 154 is Savannah Marshall. And she wants her. And she says she's going to dominate her. That's what the champions do. I'm not like the ones that we talk about all the time. It gets all of the press and people be talking about them all the time because they know they better talk about them so some people can come in and watch their video, right? They're not doing anything even close, remotely. So let's get on Shields versus Marshall. That's a huge fight. Probably the biggest in boxing. Doma Sports Talk, worldwide. And I'm up out of here, y'all.